All right. Today we got the CPI data report, which was better than expected. And for about the last week now, I've been talking about a potential bear trap setup, which was going to send stocks a lot higher with very good risk reward to be a bull. And today we did get that bullish move. And in TSC trade alerts, we did close at a brand new all-time high. And if you look at the SPY here, and we'll also look at triple Qs, we are nowhere even close to a brand new all-time high. So that is the benefit that I'm teaching about being a trader, is that we couldn't care less if the market is going higher or lower. We are always going higher as traders because we constantly put ourselves in the best risk reward setups with the best probabilities, and that allows our account balances to go to all-time highs even when the stock market is not. So if you want to come trade and do exactly what I am doing, that is the TSC trade alerts, which you can find out how to join in the comments below, as well as the description of this video. And I did spend a lot of time in the videos talking about how I was predicting this move. Last night, I talked about how to set up the best risk reward ratios. So that is what this big green and red box on your screen is. If you missed that and you're interested in seeing how to get the best risk reward ratios, you can just go watch last night's video. But for now, I want to clean up this chart a little bit. And I want to talk about all of the scenarios that you need to be aware of from here, because as I always teach, we move like water and we never assume that something has to happen. Every single day that goes by, we get more data on the chart, which allows us to make an informed decision on which is the best trade that we can be in. And that is why I say move like water, because every single day, as a retail trader, you have the benefit of being able to change your trade, adjust your trade, enter a trade, or even exit a trade because you can move like water. You're not some giant institutional investor that has to hold for an entire quarter. You can make your decisions each and every day, but what you need to learn how to do is how to make informed decisions with the highest probability and the best risk reward, and that is what I'm trying to teach you to do. So the first thing we need to talk about is TLT, because this was a big part of why I was saying we would likely get a bounce after we got the inflation data, is that the bond market had already priced in every possible worst scenario that we could have had. We know we're not going into a recession or bonds would be doing very well. So the only reason the 20-year treasury bond would have been this low and down in the dumps is because of the fear of inflation. And if it's already down in the dumps before we get the inflation data, that means bad inflation data is already priced in. And that is why I was telling you this was a very good risk reward trade for trading TLT, because if we knew the inflation data was coming and bad news was already priced in, even if the bad news wasn't as bad as everybody was expecting, this trade was likely still going to work anyway. So this is just one of those no-brainer trades. We did very well in this trade. It still has plenty of room to go to the upside, which is what you're seeing with this risk reward setup. But again, I want to clean things up so when we're doing the analysis, we don't have to look at all of the junk on the screen. And from 85, it is possible TLT is still running higher towards 89 to 90, and it's still a buy the dip anywhere between 85 and 84. So the bond market will likely continue to go higher, especially now that we already got the inflation data. And one thing people were confused about is I was saying that the treasury bond would go higher, which meant the yields would go lower. And as you can tell, this is the 20-year treasury yield, which was dropping from about 5.06%. And today it's down below 5%. That's why I was telling you if the bond bounced, the yields would come down, and that would favor a bounce in the stock market. So if we look at what everything I said in the past few days, that is essentially exactly what played out. The bond market bounced, the yields came down, and stocks absolutely loved it. And now we are sitting at a crossroads in SPY right here at resistance. And the number one thing I want you to pay attention to here is that the bears still have the benefit of all of these lower highs on SPY. And while it does not mean we absolutely have to get rejected here, I want you to be aware that we did open a new gap today. So even if we go a bit higher, it is very likely we will get a pullback into that gap from this lower high rejection right around 594. Now this can get tricky because this gap does not need to fill, even though it will likely fill in the future. It does not have to fill now, but what I'm trying to show you is that this is actually a decent trade to either be looking to reduce your long exposure or even consider a short trade from 594 to 598. which are all lower high rejections and very valid risk level for bears to sell from, which also means smart bulls will also take profits because a smart bull is also a net seller when they're taking profit. So this is probably the easiest way I could explain it. SPY from 594 and 598 is still vulnerable for a pullback, which would take us down to a gap fill at 585. I think that is completely self-explanatory. I shouldn't really have to go into any more detail there. And then once that gap fills, if we do get this scenario, the bulls still have full control if they put a higher low in there and continue to push higher into the 600s. What you will have to watch if that gap fills is whether we do get the bullish bounce and continuation higher, or if the bears take back over control and we just continue lower towards 560. Remember what I just got done saying, as traders, we couldn't care less which of these scenarios plays out. We simply want to make money. And that means when the time comes, I am going to put us in the best probability to make the most amount of money, which means I will pick one of these trades that I think is the best probability chance with the best risk reward ratio. And that is the trade we are going to take. So right now, these are the probabilities that you need to be weighing. I would give them an equal weight of 50-50 right now because we don't really have a strong trend in either direction. If you look at the chart, we're really just stuck in a range going sideways. These are the same prices we've had in SPY going all the way back to November of last year. And that is what is called trading in a range, because we're really just ping-ponging between support and resistance with no strong trend in either direction. So you don't really have the benefit of a strong trend right now for the bears or the bulls. You do have a possibility that the bears could make a bear trend with all of the lower highs. And then you also have the longer term bull trend you need to weigh in. So that's why right here, I am heavily in cash, and that's what I'm suggesting to be in until we see whether or not we're going to get this rejection. And I do think there's a good probability we will, even if we go a bit higher first. And then once we get that pullback, it is going to be whether or not we can bounce off of that as support, or if we just continue a downtrend. Now there you have it. Now you just need to watch the chart and move like water. You know exactly the critical levels to pay attention to. All you need to do is watch price and react accordingly, letting the chart do all of the talking, and then you react with a trade plan, which means you need to have a trade plan prepared that is objective around following price action. If you start to do everything that I am teaching you, you are going to be a very profitable trader, but you have to put in that work. And if you don't want to put in the work and you still want to be profitable, then you have TSC trade alerts where you just get the alert of exactly what I'm telling you to do. And all you need to do is to react to the alert. So watch these levels on SPY. It is going to be just this simple. It is whether or not you are going to have the discipline to have an approach that can be profitable from this chart. Remember, we are traders. We trade only what the chart is giving us, and we don't need to guess. We can follow price and have the better probability with the better risk reward. Next up is the NASDAQ 100 triple Qs, and we were up 2.3% today. And this is the move that sent us to a brand new all-time high, because in TSC trade alerts, we trade the T triple Qs and the S triple Qs. And today we were loaded up with that long position that was very profitable on this bounce. And now you can see we are sitting at another juncture, just like SPY, of potential lower highs, and we did open another gap, and that gap fill is down here right around 510. So even if we start to go a little bit higher, there's still the potential of that rejection towards 510, and then from 510 the bulls could easily put in that higher low as they push to 530, or the bears are going to take over control and we're going down to finally fill that gap below 493. Again, we could not care less which one of these plays out. We are going to move like water. We know the critical levels and where to manage risk from. And as we get more price action, we're also going to know the highest probability chance. So move like water. You have all of the critical levels. This is still a very simple market to trade. It is being very technically sound, and it's likely going to continue to do that. Even though a lot of people are getting tricked and trapped by this market, it is a very simple market and chart to trade once you understand what you're looking for. So stay disciplined. You have to be very patient as a trader. That's why I've been spending a lot of time teaching you how to set up the best risk reward ratios, and then understanding you need to have the patience to wait and let the chart give you more data. You will be a very profitable trader if you learn how to follow price and put the probabilities in your favor with the best risk reward setups, and you will continue to crush this market. Remember, you can get the exact percent allocations that I am taking for either the T triple Q or the S triple Q by signing up for TSC trade alerts, which you can find out how to join by clicking on the link in the description of this video, as well as the comment section. So thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you're crushing this market, and as always, I will see you in the next episode.